Hello everyone, this is Sabedin from BI Data Lab, and today we are going to make a video about how to convert this dataset here into this Power BI report. So I had a request from one of my friends which has a PhD doctorate, and he was doing this research, and he gathered these data, and maybe we can see better if we open the actual Excel file, so like this. So he gathered this data which represent the history of containment measures in some of the European countries and their respective dates. So we have in the first column, country column, so Austria, Belgium, and so on. Then we have in the second row the measures. So first case is confirmed, then first deaths confirmed, then all the way to the full lockdown dates. So for each country we have a date when this country implemented full lockdown measure into their country. So the request from my friend was to somehow put the dates into the axis, either horizontal or vertical, and also to have the countries like this, and then to have the measures into the values like this, but not in the textual format, but in some nice format like this. So we have icons for each of the measures, and we can see here, so information campaigns started are with the green icon, and for each country we can see when this measure started. So for example, in UK the information campaign started at January 20th, and so on. So now we will see how to convert this Excel data into this Power BI report. Maybe you can pause the video and try to guess by yourself how to do this. There are two main things that we need to do. One within Power Query and one after we load data into Power BI Desktop. So we will start fresh Power BI Desktop file now, and we will load this data. So we click this Excel import data from Excel connector here, and then we have the file with the data right there. So now the file is reading, and as you see, we have the sheet with the data that we need. So let's see how the preview is showing the data. It's taking a bit longer, I don't know why, but let's wait a bit. Anyway, let's go to the Power Query, because we need to do a few Power Query steps in order to transform this dataset into the correct format which can be used to create the report that we saw. So what we need to do first is to promote headers, and the change type step is automatically added, so the columns are changed to the dates. So the format of the columns is changed to dates. Now what we have to do is to remove this nulls. We don't need it. we don't have any additional column that we need to remove. And now what we have to do, so this is the first step that I mentioned earlier. So we need to do a step here which will allow us to create the date axis. So to create date axis, what we need to do is we need to create a date column. And how we do that? If we unpivot other columns. So we click right click in the country column and then unpivot other columns. What will do this step? We'll create two columns, one with the measures and one with the dates, and then it will multiply the rows. So we have one country, one measure, and the date. Then same country, next measure, then the date. Then same country, next measure, then the date, and so on. So let's see, unpivot other columns. In my experience, this is one of the most used functions, Power Query functions within Power Query. So now we have country, we have attribute, and the value. For the attribute, we can rename it to measure, and for the value, we can rename it to date. So the data is all ready now to be loaded into Power BI. So we close and apply, and we wait a bit until the data is loaded into Power BI desktop. Now we have all here ready. So we have country column, date column, and the measure. So don't confuse, this is not the measure that we usually create in Power BI desktop, but this is the name of the column for the data set. So the measure in our case is the measures that are taken into each country, and the date when that measure was implemented. Okay, so now we can start and build this report. So what we have here, we have a matrix, as you can see. We have the legend, which I guess you know how is this created. This is a simple table, so no big deal. Then there is a date slicer, and there is also a country slicer, but formatted in different way. Okay, so first we need to create a matrix. Just click it, and click the country, click the date, and click the measure. Let's see what we get. We don't get any information by default, so we need to put the date first from date hierarchy view to simple date view, and then we need to take date into the columns and the measure into the values. So what we have now, we did something, right? So we have the date, we have the country, and we have the measure in the values. Now, as we can see, the matrix is way too wide, so it's better if we switch the country and date by putting country into the columns and date into the rows. Okay, what we notice next is that we don't need this totals, so we go and remove them. Next, we will format this date column so we have only the day and the month. So it's all 2020, so we don't need the year here. So what we do, select date and go put it like so, day and month, so day, month. Okay, so from the first date up to the last date in our data set. Now we come to the next important step, which is to convert these values into the icons, like here. So if you want to think about this, take a moment, pause the video, and see if you can find the solution, how I did this. So it's not a big deal, but maybe for the beginners it might be challenging. So what we need here is we need to convert these into the icons. So we will use one DAX function, which is switch, and then we will create another column which will check each value in the measure column, and for each measure it will display a specific icon. I have a very useful site here where we can see all different types of icons, and we will use unichar function in the DAX to create, let's say, these icons here. So we will combine switch function with unichar function to convert textual values into the icons, like this. And then after this we create the legend. So we go here and let's click new icon. And let's call it icon. So we will use switch function over true, and we will say if measure is equal to, maybe we can go and just copy paste the values from the Excel file and not risking to make a typo, like this. Then we will use unichar function and go get the one of the icons here. Let's get for the sake of the tutorial, let's get first one, copy paste, and then increase every next measure with 1, like this. So let's go back. Okay, like this. Then okay, so this is for one measure. We need to copy and paste this for, let's see how many measures. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 measures. Okay. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. So now we get we switch the icons. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we are here. So we got this, and we will get this. Okay, and if nothing, then we will use this blank function like this. Okay. Okay, so now we need to change the measures. So the first icon we connect it to this first measure here. Then we will go and get the second measure and convert it to the second character in our list. So we go back to the Excel and copy paste the second measure. Then the third one. Next one. Okay, so this is a bit boring, but copy paste is very useful, as you know. So we prevent ourselves from doing mistakes. Okay, and finally full lockdown. So what are we saying with this function again? For if the column measure is equal to first case is confirmed, then get us this unichar, get us this icon. If it's this value, then get us this other unichar, and so on. Let's see if it works. Okay, now you see. So first case is confirmed is the red icon. Then if we go here again, first case is confirmed, again is the red circle, and so on. Now what we need to do here is to replace the value of the measure with the icon. Voila! So this is pretty cool, right? So now we have the major part completed, and this is I really was happy when I first created this. So as you can see, now we can add the first something here to mention. When we put the icon here, the values, because the icon is not numerical value, it cannot be added or find the average or something like that. Then the Power BI by default sets it as first. So if for this date, for example, for this country we have more than one measure, then go and take first icon. But we will switch to the last icon in this case, because let's see, for example, here, because if we have the same two measures in the same date, then we will take the last one, because let's say that is more restricting or more strict measure. For example, if we have let's see if we can find the two. Okay, here, if for the Finland, in the same day we had workplace closing and restrictions on gathering. So we will, if we choose to get the first value of the icon, then we will get the icon that corresponds to the workplace closing. But if we choose the last value of the icon, then we will get the icon that belongs to the restrictions on gatherings. Okay. So the table is okay, the matrix is okay. Now we will create the legend. How we do that? Very simply. So very easy. So we add the measure. We just click it. It will automatically create the table visual, and then we also click the icon. So now we have this nice little table which can serve us as the slicer or as the legend of the sorry, of the matrix. So we can select, click on the first measure and see only the first case is confirmed. We select the second one, we see the yellow circles. We select this one here, we see blue rectangles, restrictions on gathering. We select this brown circle and we see school closing and so on. We can also select multiple by holding Control key down like this. So people now can see and make different analysis on these data. Okay, so what we have next to add from the image, we can add the date filter and we can add the country filter or slicer. So let's add it like this. Easy enough. And let's add another slicer where we will put the country. Let's make the values items within slicer to be in horizontal orientation. Okay, and we can make it a bit nicer with this frame here. Okay. So now if we click Finland, we will have data only for Finland. If we click Italy, we will have data only for Italy. Romania, Slovakia, and so on. UK, and so on. Okay, I don't think we have anything else. I believe the only thing that we forgot to do is to sort these by the way they are presented in the columns. So we want to have first cases confirmed as the first item in the legend and the full lockdown as the last one. As we can see here, this is not the case because it is filtered by alphabetically. So what we have to do in order to keep the sorting from the Excel file. You can also pause now and maybe think a bit how we do that. Okay, we have to go back to the Power Query, and we can use either we have to make another column, either conditional column, or I think it's easier if we go add columns from examples from the selection here and say for first cases confirmed we put the value 1, then for the second measure 2, third one 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and the last one full lockdown 9. Okay, and we call it measure sort, something like this. Okay, now we go back, close and apply. We have an additional column, and what we need to do now is just to go select the measure column and then go and sort by not default measure but the newest column that we created in Power Query. So now we have the sort just like the sort in the Excel. So first case is confirmed, up down to the full lockdown. Okay, so this concludes our first tutorial. We have some tutorials in Albanian, and this is the first one in English. I hope you liked it, and if so, then be sure to stick with us, because I plan to make similar videos like this, where I believe you can learn various things about Power BI. So thank you very much, and see you in our next video. Bye bye.